Hello, welcome to Carlisle, and it's lovely to see the outside view. Actually, it's great what Just Trains have done with this route. Absolutely fantastic creation. Seems to be a lot of people drifting in towards the station anyway, so let's join the throng of passengers and make our way towards our train today, if we can get past them anyway. Love one of these old school booking offices. That's where I used to get the tickets from, with the small window. It feels as though it should have one of those sort of windows above where you could you'd speak to them through muffled glass, and I'm sure you know what I mean. Not describing it very well. Here is our excuse me, is our traction for the day. It's the Transpennine TPE 802, which is basically a LNER 801 but reliveried. We've got a Avanti West Coast one there as well. So let's get into the cab and underway. And we got let's try that again. We've got a non-stop run through to Preston. There we are. We're in the seats. Sometimes getting in the seats not all that straightforward on Train Sim World 5. So let's get the master key on, the reverser into forward. Excuse me. AWS on.
TPWS and AWS operational.
What shall we have for the headlights? Marker, I guess. Yeah, marker, I think, as it's daytime. Let's get the doors open. And I don't think we're quite due away just yet, because I think that train on the left, for one thing, has to depart. And also check some of these out as well, because I don't think everything's quite as we want it. We want the DSD into place. We want the vigilance on as well. And AWS isolation isolated. No, we don't want that, do we? We want that into normal as well. So that should hopefully do us. So an absolutely superb recreation of the livery, and that Avanti West Coast one as well. Seems to be a lot of people waiting for that service over there. Now this is on the Creators Club, and it is called West Coast Mainline Transpennine Express Southbound. And it just caught my eye. I like the look of the time of the day very much, and it just looked a nice little service to be driving today. It's been created by Carmen on the Creators Club, and the good thing is I think there's only 3 reskins needed. We have a 221 in cross-country livery. I mean, in reality, that's also a derivative of the 801 as well, I think, but it kind of does the job, and the livery's quite nice. We might have missed it because we were looking at Carlisle Citadel Station on the outside, so I don't know if we'll get any others on journey. We've got that Avanti one's departing. Great old feeling to it, hasn't it, this station? I really do like Carlisle Citadel Station. We've got a 323 coming in as well, and the good news is we've now got a green signal, so we can get underway. It's fairly slow out of the station, 20 miles an hour. Oh, we've got a freight coming through as well, that's good to see. Seems to be quite a nice mix of traffic. I did find one northbound service that was kind of doing something similar with the same livery on the TPE unit, and that was a stopping one as well, but there just didn't seem to be the amount of traffic that's on this one. I mean, I didn't do the full run, so it might be a nice one, but just love the look of this golden sunshine as well. Love that sign, carpet wrong. Can't think where they got that idea from. But there's some absolutely superb scenarios on the Creators Club website, and nice to get a bit of variety. I mean, I absolutely love driving this route with the 87, and that's great fun, and I love the 1980s feel about it, and it's going to be even better when we get the Class 86 to go with it as well. But it's just nice to be able to do something kind of modern. Here's the neutral section. Probably doesn't work when we're driving this unit, but we'll still obey that one. Probably miss most of the other ones, I would suspect. But it's kind of nice to do a modern run, just something a little bit different with the Transpennine Express unit. We should see plenty of passing traffic as well, with perhaps we'll get a bit of freight, but mainly I suspect it's going to be Avanti West Coast Pendolinos. Hope you're enjoying the week, and I have to say I've relented. I mean, I was looking forward to the Dutch route coming out, and I have been interested in the development and the screenshots as it's come out, and I thought, oh, that looks a bit different. And I'd kind of decided after I bought the Cardiff City network last week, I thought, I can't be shelling out another £30 odd for another route. And that was basically until I saw the preview stream last night, and I thought, what an absolutely wonderful route. Yes, it's flat. Some people will say it's not always the most interesting, but I thought it was absolutely stunning. I love the assets and the infrastructure that they've put in place, and it really does feel as though they've put a lot of effort into it. And you kind of, I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I don't think Matt Pedalston was prepared to admit it, but you kind of get the feeling that the main bulk of the route was built in-house. And I only say that because they well, he seemed to know a lot more about the development of the route in many ways. But best of all, the trains. And I love the fact that they've gone to absolute trouble to get proper sounds in. And the sounds, to my ears anyway, I mean, interested to hear from any Dutch viewers and people who really know the units well. But it looks to me as though they've done a great job. And I think basically they said they spent, I think basically the whole week recording both the coplopper and the sprinter, or whatever it's called, the EMU, and they let them kind of do what they wanted and get all the sounds that they needed, not just the running sounds but the alarms going off, the whole lot. And it's a bit of a relief for me personally, because I'm still desperately trying to get to grips with the German signalling system, and I'm a long way off from properly understanding now. But the Dutch system looks really, really intuitive, because it's essentially, it only really tells you off if you're doing something wrong, and even then you haven't got a massive amount to do to actually get the thing back moving again. So I've given up. I've actually bought it tonight, so I haven't actually, because I thought I wanted to get this video recorded and then out to you, you know, reasonably quickly. And I thought, well, there'd be an absolute 1,000,001 videos of the Dutch route, so I'll do one on that fairly soon, I suppose. When I've done a couple of runs, it's going to be a little bit of double Dutch. I'm trying to work out actually if that's a derogatory phrase. I hope it isn't. And if it is, I certainly don't mean it to be. But I was absolutely blown away by the preview, and it's not often that nowadays, because there seems to be so much stuff coming out, and particularly at the moment with this spring sort of mayhem of releases coming out. But I was telling myself I'll wait a few weeks before I bought it. That was that. But then I saw the preview. I mean, I don't actually know anything really about the Dutch trains at all, and I think I've once perhaps done that service from, well, once or twice anyway. I've maybe done the service from Schiphol to Amsterdam Central, and it's such a long time ago now, I don't know, mid-90s perhaps, but that was probably one of those coploppers. But it was tremendous fun. And again, you are reminded, and you know, watching that route last night, when Trains and World 5 is done to great quality. It really is absolutely superb. I must confess as well that I'm starting to enjoy the Cardiff city network a bit more than I was originally. Maybe I'm just getting the hang of the network style of it a little bit more over time. I really like the Cardiff Bay run to Radda. That's probably my favourite. That seems to be the most complete in terms of the scenery, and I think some of the detail is really nice. There's just some parts of it that just don't feel quite finished. I quite like the Sprinter as well, and I think, having thought that I was going to enjoy driving the 153 more than the 150, the sound's not quite right for me on the 153 yet. I know they use the original sounds off the real train, but they just sound a bit too noisy inside the cab. So one or two things that perhaps need changing. No idea in terms of sales how this route has gone down for just trains, but it's absolutely beautiful from start to finish. You know, going through the heart of the Lake District, Cumbria, it's absolutely beautiful to the eye. And I don't know, it's obviously different challenge than laying buildings, and there being a lot of stations. Nearly went into Scylla Black Mode there. a lot of stations, not a Laura. Really should have been concentrating on the significant reduction in speed there to 80 through Penrith. This is of course the Northern Lakes. That's the M6 that we're going over there. Is anything missing on this unit? And you felt particularly with the Azuma one when it first came out, which basically this is, no cruise control feature. I mean, you could do it on the Train Sim Classic one, but not in the Train Sim World variation. And also, sadly, we don't have the right... Oh, we do actually. Ah, that's interesting. It does say Preston. That's very strange, because I did load this up last night, got the reskins installed, and when I looked down on that, it was telling me that the next station stop was going to be Swindon. Puzzled by that, but yeah, it's worked itself out. Don't know whether it was right at Carlisle, I didn't notice. Yeah, when you kind of get to Penrith, you're making your way towards Oxenholme, then you very much are part of the Lake District. Certainly would make it slightly easier to control with this undulating route. And we definitely won't be exceeding 110 on this service. Because I presume that, it does go up to 125, doesn't it? I don't know if we can see that clearly anywhere here, but does it show it up in the cab? Maybe not. But it definitely does go up to 125. I'm kind of conscious with this that I don't know what parts of the route we'd be able to do 125, it being a non-tilting train. Right, now I'm going to be a good boy this time and come down to 80 miles an hour for the reduction. We are a little bit early for that because as you can see, the 80 is just after the next signal. So probably realistically we could have actually started braking just about approaching the signal rather than when we did. Moments like that when you do need Peter Greensmith, PTG rail, with his very precise videos that he used to do, and you certainly didn't find him speeding on journeys, and he would tell you exactly when to start braking. A few trademark lines as well coming into stations, and he'd be saying, well, we'll aim for that column over there and that should be just about in the right place. But they were very, very, very good quality videos, and I used to love watching him, and a few people used to comment that he sounded like as though he was a real train driver, and he wasn't and isn't. I don't know whether he might have a job on the railways now, I'm not sure, but he certainly has an immense knowledge and interest. And we're still some way off, 56 miles, and go through Oxenholme, Lancaster, Carnforth and Preston. I've probably said it on quite a few videos, but you can't but help absolutely loving doing a train sim run with beautiful sunshine, this golden sunshine like this. And it's not always like that in this country, that's for sure, but when it is, there's fewer places in the world that are more beautiful. Slightly biased, of course, in that respect. I love this section as well. Rocks surrounding us. There's one or two places like that on the Glasgow-Edinburgh route. But there's much I haven't experienced yet on this route, it has to be said. With this, I've not even tried a Freightliner run. I mean, I've been slightly put off because it's like a couple of hours. That's one of the big quarries here, isn't it? Well, I'm saying it's one of the big quarries. I know you've got the I can't remember the names of them. Is the one Hardingdale or something like that? And you can start some scenarios in and out of the quarries as well. No. I mean, that's the only biggest concern sometimes. You know, you spend a lot of money on these add-ons that keep constantly being churned out, but it's finding the time really to get some proper playability out of them. But such a different experience driving this northern part of the West Coast Main Line compared with when you go through, coming out of Euston through Hertfordshire. Now we do have quite a descent. And I think in steam days, the idea of climbing and probably descending Shap as well was a monumental experience in many ways, and a huge difficulty, but these modern electrics handling climbs with great ease. Love that view in the distance as well. The great views looking out over the Lake District. mean, I've no idea if there were any great complaints about the idea of electrification and the posts going up in the early 1970s, but I would have thought it's considerably less eyesore than a 6-lane motorway, that's for sure. Check the timings to see if this is a kind of a real workings on real-time trains, but is this Tibet, am I right in saying? Tibet. Whoever created the idea of making sure you can still hear the sounds from when you're outside the cab deserves a gold medal. As do the Just Trains route builders, to be fair. I mean, this is just absolutely stunning. And much as I enjoyed doing this ride in the 87, I have to say that with the cab, okay, we're supposed to be an 802 really, but it looks absolutely gorgeous. Get a really good view looking out onto the lovely landscape. This is the Lune Gorge, isn't it? Words fail you at moments like that. I've done the train journey a few times. I've driven it as well, but it really is absolutely breathtaking. The only thing that gives it away there is we've got cars which are supposed to be representing about 1986. I mean, I couldn't really tell you other than the fact that we're not going to get any 125 mile an hour signs or enhanced speed limit signs. I couldn't really tell you massively what's the difference in the infrastructure between when this route was set and how it is now. I mean, when I did that live stream, when I did the London Euston to Glasgow Central a few weeks back, that was to mark the 500 subscribers. I did actually go at 125 on this route with the Pendolino, because I kind of thought, well, if the speed limit's 110, then we'll do 125, which I hope wasn't too far off from reality. I mean, we often talk in the live streams about the, oh, here's another TPE unit, about the mods that are available for the PC and stuff like that. And okay, we've got a sound mod installed on this unit which does enhance the sound, but Creators Club itself is available to everybody for console users, so if you've not taken a look, it's worth having a delve into there, because if you've kind of exhausted some of your routes and you feel like something a bit different, then there's plenty lurking and waiting in there, and there's some very, very talented people as well. Which is good news for me, really. I mean, I enjoy doing these drives, and I quite enjoy talking about them, as you've probably gathered. But that's kind of the easy bit, really. But actually creating these scenarios certainly takes a bit of work, and to get everything kind of working the way you want it as well. And this is clearly a talented scenario creator, because I loved how the fact when we were at Carlisle we got a train leaving, we had a class 66 coming through, we had a 323 as well, so there was a bit going on. Again, I've said it, you know, time and time again, but one of my greatest bugbears about TradeSim Classic is just the time it takes to install the reskins just to get the scenarios working. And the great thing about TradeSim World is, as long as you can find them, the hardest job is actually finding the right reskins, but it's not too difficult at all. You just basically just download them, subscribe to them, and then you're in. You do have the slight annoyance then that you might then play on the East Coast main line and find a Transpennine unit coming through in the wrong place, but you can unsubscribe if you want to, I suppose. It's a shame you can't kind of make them a little bit more route specific. Well, there's a cross country. It's a shame if they could have lowered the pantograph on there somehow, it would have looked quite realistic. So we're going through Oxenholme. Of course, the branch for Windermere is right here. And you kind of know that Just Trains clearly must have had ideas of putting in the whole of the Windermere branch at one point, because the track is certainly all laid. And it would just be a lovely little present if at some point there's a neutral section. I've probably missed tons of them, I reckon, on this journey already. I think basically because this train isn't designed really for this West Coast main line over Shap, then I don't think you're going to find that the motors get cut when you go over the neutral sections. But yeah, it'd be an absolutely lovely present if Just Trains could suddenly come out with a completed Windermere branch. Go quite nicely with that 104 as well. Oh, he is afraid. 66 action. But I know that 104 is supposed to be for the peak rail. Now I must admit, if that came out, I would want to then get the peak rail DLC, but it's been a heck of a long time since they announced it. It's one of those projects that you kind of wonder, will it ever see the light of day? So we've had the beauty of the Lake District and kind of feel as though Oxenholme is the bottom end, if you like, coming this way of the lakes. Then we're going to get kind of more general English countryside. It's still very beautiful, this part of Cumbria, but it's not quite going to be as stunning as the lakes themselves. Am I right in saying this is the first time that we've had speed limit of 110? Lancaster and Carlisle before Preston. Greatly enjoying this run, I have to say. I hope you're enjoying the video, and if you are new to the channel, I'd be massively appreciated if you could consider liking and subscribing, build up that support. So pretty much we're set in stone with the live stream, Sunday 5 PM UK time, and generally have 4 hours, bit of a chit chat, not always just talking about trains. Try and cover quite a few bits of topics with football, sport, news, politics, the whole lot, whole shebang really. I do try and post the news of what trains and services I'm driving ahead of the day as well. So if anybody does see a Trains and World scenario and they fancy giving it a go, then by all means, happy for you to join in. Fortunately, we can't have them all on multi-screen at the same time, but let me know if you do, and you do run at about the same time. You can let me know the scores, and we can have a chat. I know that one of my most loyal supporters, viewers, friend, Maze Taze, generally likes to do the same Trains and World 5 runs as me, and generally gets a better score than me as well. So I'd be quite interested to see other people putting the effort in as well, because see if I am bottom of the league. Down the speed a bit, because I did spy that double yellow. So what have we got ahead of us? Yeah, we've got a single. Oh right, okay, that changed up to double yellow. We'll stay in the cab. Try and make sure we're with it at the moment. This is where you really do have to be concentrating as a train driver, because you can be driving for miles and miles and miles. You get absolutely loads of greens, and then suddenly you have the potential of a red signal. Of course, I've got my order slightly mixed up, haven't I? Of course, this is Carnforth. It'll be Carnforth, then Lancaster. This is where all the Steamtown stuff used to be. There's a 323. I don't know in reality if the 323s do operate on services between Carlisle and Preston. So knowing that the next signal could be potentially red, I'm not going to go more than 30. Of course, playing this for the first time, you're always hoping that actually it's not a duff scenario and that we are going to make it to the final destination. And I can guarantee you, if you're watching this, that we did make it to Preston, because otherwise it won't make it to air, as it were. Right, we've got green, haven't we, there? So does that mean we've cleared our problem train? Still got 25 miles to go to Preston, so just Lancaster to get through. Yeah, the time of recording this, I've completely downloaded now that Dutch route, so but it'll be too late now to give that a run tonight. Sure when I'll get round to actually doing a video on that. I don't know whether I'll get a chance to do a video before Sunday's live stream. We'll see. I did do a video, well, as part of the live stream on Sunday. I played the extension to the Nicholas route on Steam Workshop feature. We did Dartford to Charing Cross, and that included the new Bexley Heath section. You know, the funny thing is, whenever I played this route on Train Sim Classic, I can't ever recall going past the sea. I'm surely it must have been on there. That was the Morecambe branch, wasn't it? Just veering away. I don't think I've ever done that triangle where you're heading north from Morecambe. There's one or two services in the game that do that. We're not a million miles away from Lancaster now. Yeah, quite like the idea on that Nicholas route of doing the full. I think you'd pretty much do the full circular now from Cannon Street to Cannon Street and do the full loop. But bearing in mind he's used free assets that were already in the game, he's done an absolutely stunning job of it. He keeps working at it, which is great to see. There's still some good stuff in Train Sim Classic, as well as the stuff that's coming out for Train Sim World. And if I get round to it, I'm hoping to download. We're going over the River Lune there, aren't we? Coming into Lancaster. But if I get the chance ahead of Sunday, I'm hoping to download for Train Sim Classic the enhanced version of the North Wales coast as well. That's been out a few weeks now. Too many times doing a train sim service where I've not stopped at Lancaster and zoomed straight through. Yeah, it's a lot more effortless driving this train than the 87, both completely different characters, and that has a fair bit of power in it, but this feels a lot more smoother to operate. What time did we start off? Well, it was just after 10 o'clock, wasn't it? So yeah, quite a nice time, I think, for a YouTube video. Looks as though we caught that train up again. Again, that's a level of detail you might not expect to see on a Creators Club scenario, but to have a train in front of you, it could have been just a completely free run. What I'd love to find is a situation where we have these adverse signals and then we pass a freight in the loop or something like that. So that was double yellow. Certainly nothing in that loop. Probably be okay for faster than 50 with a double yellow. Yeah, now we're on green. So I'm kind of thinking that that was a train that stopped at Lancaster and has now managed to get itself away from us a little bit. Trouble at mill. See one of the old mill buildings, disused probably in the background there. I certainly prefer to be doing something with this route in a modern sense. I prefer to do kind of a Creators Club scenario rather than trying to do free road, because it'd be a bit weird to be driving this train and then have all the old British Rail Blue stuff going on alongside you. Feel that Train Sim World much better in terms of going over the points, both in terms of the actual suspension factor of it and you know, it's not completely solid and still, but also that proper rumble that you get. It feels as though you literally are going over the points rather than Train Sim Classic. You still get a noise, but it feels, I don't know, it just feels a bit more generic somehow. I understand why British Rail thought that a tilted train would be ideal for the West Coast Main Line, and I think they were not really thinking about the kind of the London end of it. It was really about this kind of section, and I suppose Beatock as well, and the climbs there, but the bendy bits between Glasgow and Carlisle and Preston. It's a little bit more sedate beyond Preston. Again, a completely different route further south. And certainly when they were building the Class 91s, which were allegedly kind of built surrounding some of the expertise that they'd built up in a way on the APT, they decided that it wasn't necessary to have tilted trains on the East Coast Main Line because it was straighter. I think when they built the Mark IV carriages, the idea was that they could retrospectively put the tilt technology into them, but it's never been used, it's never come into being. Might think the TPE Transpennine Express livery is, well, I suppose you can't say it's subtle, but I quite like it. Certainly never been on a Transpennine service up the West Coast Main Line. Brake on because we're slightly downhill. Just checking again, we've still got the the indicator of Preston. But I'd be interested to know why it wasn't working for me last night. Totally sure if I'm going to get any videos out for the Dutch route over the next few days. We'll see, but I don't think it's a massive issue in terms of YouTube because there's absolutely flooded with them at the moment. Yeah, I partly kind of want to give it a run and do it on the channel and, you know, give some thoughts on it, but mainly I'm just looking forward to driving it because it looks absolutely beautiful. just about an hour, isn't it, all told? Just slightly over. What could be nicer? Spending an hour sweeping through the English countryside in beautiful golden sunshine, lovely weather conditions. And whatever your stress is in life, sometimes it's one of the reasons why I like Train Simulator so much, because okay, you know, I've obviously got a massive love of trains, and you know that'll never diminish, but it's also very chilled out, and I think even non-train geeks have kind of expressed an interest and have watched you know, some of the cab ride videos, and I think they could start to understand the joys, really. So we're starting to get the speed reductions in towards Preston. Only a couple of miles at the station. You can see the 35-mile-an-hour limit coming in. On the top right-hand corner, we'll have the site of the church. Is it? I forget what it's called. Is it Warburg? Something like that. Warburg. And you have the Blackpool coastline as well coming in from the right. Of course, that's a route you can do on Train Sim World 5 with the Blackpool branches route also from Just Trains, and very, very nice it is too. I mean, okay, I've loved doing this in the Transpennine in a more modern day setting today, but I'll look forward being able to have a ride in the 86 when it comes out. Hopefully that'll be sometime this year. Kind of assuming the double yellow there that we're going to get into the platform. Here's the Blackpool line coming in from the right, and of course that's fully electrified these days. Here's one of those cross-country units. I say it doesn't look half bad, does it, actually? The giveaway's the pantograph, unfortunately, at the top, but the livery on it's quite nice. Yeah, we're signalled into platform 4, which will do us just nicely. I don't know for definite where this service would be heading for. Would it be Manchester Airport, maybe? And again, real character and interest about Preston Station as well. With the old Traveller's Fare buffet, which, if you're as old as me, you remember the 1980s, you'll certainly remember the days when the only food you could buy pretty much at railway stations. You'd either have the W.H. Smith newsagents, or you would have Traveller's Fare buffets for your sandwiches and coffee. Yeah. Usual glitches to finish with. Yeah, good to see we got some passengers on board as well. We weren't travelling empty, and there is an absolute shed load going off here at Preston. There must be a big event going on today. So that's just about time to say thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the last hour or so. Another absolutely gorgeous train sim run, and going through the heart of the Lake District and utilising the lovely West Coast Main Line over Shap route from Just Trains. Great scenario from the Creators Club from Carmen, and if you want to play it, then have a go on it. It's called West Coast, well, Wcml, West Coast Main Line, Transpennine Express Southbound, and it features a non-stop run from Carlisle to Preston. Sorry, I'm distracted. I can hear a freight going on somewhere. Where's that gone? One stationary there, isn't it? Might be that one, is it? Wait a minute, no, we've got one coming in. Yeah. That comes to a halt. We've got an Avanti West Coast liveried 801 as well. 801195. I've lost my train. Where are we? Lost my train of thought. So yeah, so thank you very much for watching, and join me for the live streams, usually Sunday at 5 o'clock, and I'll try and post some other videos as well and keep things going. But if you've enjoyed the video, you've not done so before, then please like and subscribe, and have a comment about anything you want in the comments below as well if you're not here to watch the premiere. But thank you, and from Powerflower Trains and Planes, for now, it's goodbye.